Part of everything.
Yeah, for best set.
Welcome to their Saturday morning Samoflange.
Here, look out!
I'm Matt.
I'm Benjamin.
He's Mikey.
That's Mikey.
Ah! He's on his way.
He's coming.
He's coming. He'll be here.
We assume.
It is time for Saturday morning Samoflange. It is time.
Favorite time of the week.
It is the best time of the week. And since we're a little bit further back, there we go. We got the Barbie Dream House behind us.
Yes. Well, I mean, we've got to be in.
Oh, and this is where we do Samoflange.
We got to be on set for.
That's the set.
The 300th. Yeah, that's our elaborate.
Basically,
Barbie Dream House.
Barbie and the Barbie Dream House just keeps Mikey quiet.
Yeah, we don't need you for this episode. We're just doing choose your own Samoflange.
That's right.
You play with the Barbies.
Well, we get to set this up, and when Mikey gets here, then we'll start our top five. So,
all right.
I thought, hey, Teresa, how's it going? I thought we would do.
Teresa, I'm so glad to see you here.
Yeah, see, Benjamin's glad to see you.
Yes, I am.
We thought we'd do our top five Samoflange moments because it's just like it's so meta.
Well, I mean,
and you gotta go.
What better way to celebrate
the 300?
Your
300
than by
there's no way to pick favorite
choosing
episodes.
your favorite stuff you've done.
There's no way to pick favorite episodes, but favorite more. Hey, Jamie. Hey, Rob.
That might be difficult to pick favorite episodes for sure.
Yeah.
Morning, folks.
Happy
Saturday to you.
Happy Saturday. It's a Saturday morning. This is, by the way, this is the only time we do these on Saturday mornings.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean,
usually it's Friday night.
Or reveal that now.
It's all proof.
It's been done.
You know,
so
because our choose your own Samoflange still hasn't completed yet.
No, it hasn't.
So sure, it's gonna come back, but we've already recorded them all. But it's a lot of fun.
We haven't recorded them all.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
We did.
We don't have. Did we?
Yeah, we got them all. We got them all
right there in the Barbie Dream House. I must have been distracted, but anyway.
Well, there was one more. I had to give the book back, so I just did it. But it was. But guess what? We were only like 4-7 pages away. The other two things were dead ends.
We couldn't have even filled an episode.
So
with that anyway.
We couldn't have filled an episode.
And they were dead ends.
I didn't fill in episodes.
So
well, they were endings. Yeah.
We literally did though.
We did basically everything. Yeah.
We did the best thing though on the very first try.
We were doing the best we could with what we had. That's right.
But we did the best.
We did
on
the
the
best.
first try.
Oh, on the first try was the best.
It.
Except for blowing the whole armada away and blowing him away. That was a pretty sweet ending.
Good. That was pretty sweet.
But we're spoilers because we don't know if we've got to those yet. I don't remember. But anyway, so that's what we're gonna do. And it's been crazy that we've done this 300 times.
I know.
But is this Mikey now saying I'm on my way?
Probably. No. Yes.
I don't know.
No. Unless he drives for FedEx.
My packages are ready for pickup.
Oh, you're getting fished or smished.
What?
I don't know. It's probably spam. He clicked on it.
This package, this isn't spam, it's FedEx, but I already picked up the package.
It's automated stuff. Did he say on my way?
Sure. Yeah, he said on my way.
All
right. So here's the thing. Will there be any crossover?
I thought about that.
Because we got to pick these, and I will go first this time.
Hang on.
Because I'm going to be bold. I'm going to say 2.
What?
Out of 300 episodes, 2 of my moments may/will be shared.
Seriously?
By
Between the 3 of us?
I think so.
Okay.
Moments. It can be an episode, but
moments
of it. Well, mainly the moments happen in the episode. So.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But so a lot of these, I can't remember the exact numbered episode.
No, of course.
So, yeah.
Ooh, let me see. This one.
Now, one thing I kind of regret. I saw CJ last night, and I should have been.
Oh, CJ.
He could have made it.
Probably. Did he start the Samoflange with you?
Yes, it was CJ and Mikey.
CJ and Mikey and you were.
Yeah, it started because I wanted Prince of the Universe. But then I didn't. That was gonna be on science fiction,
right.
Stuff. But I was like, well, I want something just for fun. Just do top 5s. And I was thinking, well, let me do a different one. And then Mikey and I and CJ were all talking about it, and CJ says you should call it Samoflange from that Thundercats outtake on YouTube. And I was like, that's awesome. But then I thought, well, wait, we love Saturday morning cartoons. Let's call it. I thought Saturday morning Samoflange, and that's how we got it, and we did it. And we recorded them the same week, I remember, because Bruce and I did an introductory issue. I called it episode 0, which was who we are and what we're going to talk about in the podcast. And it was like 15 minutes, I think. And we did the same thing for 0.
1, 2,
Samoflange 0.
4, 5. That. I don't know. I'm gonna have like you took 2. Like I gotta say, I wasn't gonna go.
So you're gonna
saying 1.
You're gonna okay. So you say 0.
I know. I would say 1. Like
You're gonna say 1.
really,
Okay.
because I was thinking like
So-
this might be a crossover.
So when Mikey gets here, which I'm gonna kick it off in just another minute here, but when Mikey gets here, he gets a choice of 0 or you know what? Let's just
0
call
or
him
3.
live. 0 or 3.
Yeah, let's get his choice.
Since he's not here yet,
Let's get his choice.
hold on. We're
I
calling
like
him up.
the fact that this popped up on my calendar, Matt. 300th Samoflange
There you go.
That's
Of
great.
course.
with the little party.
You never watched any of these before. Well, usually just listen to them on YouTube or iTunes, but
Right.
Oh,
The
hey!
phone rings and he appears.
Okay, so
What?
and say, and I'm Mikey.
What?
And I'm
I'm
Mikey.
Happy Saturday. my
Hey,
friend.
yay. Okay, so I picked 2 crossover. I went bold. He said 1.
I said 1.
This gives you the daunting task of picking no crossover.
I was surprised though, out
or
of
3.
300, that we would have any crossover. But I thought about it, and I'm like, one of them has to be.
I'm going 3.
What? Okay. So,
Okay.
I don't mind. Now, these are in no order for me, by the way. I could not. I tried to come up with an order, but I just couldn't.
Yeah, I have an order. I do have an order.
Okay,
I
good.
have an order. It's the order.
All right. I'll give.
That's the
I'll
whole
give.
point of this show.
Yeah, I'll give my. I'll give my first one
All right, go ahead.
because, and it won't be on
How
any
many
of
people we got
y'all.
in here? Right.
It was
Morning.
our
Morning.
idea when
Hello,
Megan was
Rob.
with us.
Board game, man. Earthlings. I'll take that. Cheers.
Yeah.
All right.
So here's the thing. We were talking about Western Sizzler in an episode and talking about the sizzling.
The Sizzler.
And I said, do they have those anymore? There is like one in Oklahoma. There's one in Texas. There's one.
In like,
There's 53 or 54 in Arkansas.
What?
They're all over Arkansas. I was like, what? And the closest one was Monticello, which is now closed. It just closed.
You closed it down.
I didn't close it down. I pumped up his business, kept it alive for a couple of years, I guess. But anyway,
That's what it
I
was.
said, we're going. So we decided, but you and CJ couldn't make it for whatever reason. So Megan went with me and we recorded Saturday Morning Samoflange live
At the
inside the
Sizzler.
Sizzler while we ate. I had a grand time. And we got the waitress in on it and everything. We took it to Samoflange, went on the road for one of the few times. Maybe the last time we've ever
I
gone
was
on
about
the
to say
road.
that
with
wasn't the
Samoflange.
only time you went on the road.
No,
No, not on the road.
Because one of my honorable mentions
Is it?
is a story about, I think, a road moment, but we'll get to that.
All right. So that would be one of mine. So, and again, I'm sorry I didn't put them in order. I couldn't put them in order. I love them all. All right.
You should go because
here we go.
I was late.
I mean, that was kind of a little bit of a hype, almost a crossover from one of mine, like my number 5.
You like the Sizzler episode too?
I did because I like the Johnny Pizza flange that we had Saturday night, Samo Pizza. I guess
Oh
what we're gonna call it.
yeah.
Because I loved it because it was you, me, and Wes
I forgot
all
about that.
went to Johnny's Pizza one night to talk about Star Wars, I think. Or
It was
one
a
of the-
crossover podcast,
like from Princess,
and we recorded it.
And-
That was the last time we did an outing.
and that was
That was a fun
like
time.
we had just reviewed The Mandalorian. Or one of
They
the
want to talk about the Mandalorian and
stuff that Disney's
other
done.
things. Another TV show.
Disney Star
Book
Wars
of
stuff
episodes.
that you're like, no.
Yeah.
I will moderate between you two, but you go ahead.
Yeah.
But it ended up being a really fun episode.
Oh, it was great.
I loved having Megan there too. Megan was there, and we all had a good time. We all ate our pizza, and it was a delicious outing and experience altogether.
Saturday morning sizzling. That's it's Saturday morning
That
sizzler.
is good. Yeah.
That's what it should have been called. That's what the episode should have been called.
Yeah, good
All right,
stuff.
but go ahead though.
No, that's it. That's it. I really love that.
No, I love that one too. I agree with you.
I
That
like
was a lot of
listening
fun.
back to it and hearing all the arcade in the background and hearing the repeating sound effects.
Sound
and
effects and
else.
everything.
And it was just
But that was
delicious.
just a good time.
Yeah, I had a really
Megan
good time.
got in on it.
And I really enjoyed because your Star Wars background and with everything else. Like I love talking about Star Wars and you not knowing what we were
Yeah, I
talking
didn't know. I
about.
didn't-
But
I
also,
had a clue.
but like we had a great time with you being like, well, that sounds like crap.
And-
that sounds like crap.
All right, no,
But
that
we
was a
enjoyed it
really fun
for
one.
very different
That was,
reasons.
for
And
real.
so that was my number 5.
All right.
I was doing that.
Go for it, number 5.
All right.
I knew we'd do a one round without any crossover,
Oh,
but I think
probably.
eventually.
No, this isn't a crossover. Well, probably not. I wouldn't think so. So I am a very sentimental person. Y'all know that.
Oh Lord.
I think that everybody that's heard my voice knows that. So I think a lot of times this sort of um, topic or announcement, not really an announcement, would be saved towards the end. But my number 5 is going to be this moment
Right here.
Oh,
He went full meta.
Whoa!
And I'm going to tell you why. Because we started this stuff over 8 years ago.
That's
So
true.
it's been like almost a full decade.
That's
And,
true.
you know, I've had different spots on it. I was here at the beginning and then I wasn't here, you know,
In the
very
middle.
middle. And then I've been very, very blessed to be able to come back, you know, here lately. And
that's because of life for you.
well, no, yeah, but that's kind of my whole
Everybody.
point is that I was looking back, like I couldn't remember like everything that we did, and so I had to go back into the archives to kind of listen to some things, and listening to all of that, and then looking at where our lives were back then.
Yeah.
I mean, back then, you know, we were very, very heavy into theater. I haven't
Yeah.
done any theater at all since
Yeah.
2016, and that was my life for
Sure.
30 years, and I haven't done it in 7 years. You know, you didn't have any kids, now you
I
have
have
4.
kids, yeah.
You know, I was still in school, and now I've, you know, graduated, got a master's degree, licensed by the state of Louisiana, became an overnight dad and overnight husband.
Yeah.
You know, BJ didn't live here, I don't think, and then moved back here.
Life
So
has just.
yeah, it's
Well, he
been-
was the same thing for him because he came in when you were out, and then he moved away, and then he came back.
So just looking at like the totality and the years that, you know, there's our lives may change, but I love at the heart of it, it's we are still who we are. We're still
That's
the
a good
same
pick.
people that we were a decade ago. You know, we like the same things. We're just a little bit older, a little bit grayer, a couple more surgeries here and there, a couple more kids here and there.
Yeah.
And you know, that means a lot to me.
That's-
So
That's a good pick.
That is a good pick.
That's a good pick.
Thank you, Mike.
All right.
Cheers. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't bring your drink, you filthy animal. All right, so my next one is something that we just talked about. The very first choose your own Samoflange.
Tell me about it.
It was special.
Tell me one.
It was a unique idea because we now please correct me if I'm wrong. Benjamin and I were talking about choose your own adventure books
Yes.
and how aggravating it was and blah blah blah. After the podcast was over, we thought about it. That's when the idea came to us. Like, why don't we read through one live and do
Did
it?
you say that your number 4 is the choose your own Samoflange?
The first one, yeah.
Oh, there's our crossover then. That's one.
Hey!
Sorry,
Hold
I
on.
thought you were talking about the
So-
first episode of the show.
No.
But
no.
no, the first choose your own
That one-
Samoflange is on
Yes.
here. Yeah.
Because it just kind of was a light bulb. After the
We
podcast was
finished
over, we talked about it. It's like,
Because
that's a great idea. But then the one we picked
was brilliant.
was perfect.
It
It was
was
the past,
brilliant, yeah.
present, future. The future just always sucked, but it was funny that
Yeah.
the future always sucked.
Yeah.
And the present, you had to deal with this. It was all fantasy. You had to deal with this griffin.
It was
And
my
if
number
you
4.
fed him dog food,
This-
he'd eat you. I mean, the
Yeah.
craziest stuff.
Yeah, it was great.
And then the past was great too because we became a chieftain and what ruled the
You ended
married
up-
the princess.
You
or-
ended up like Evil Dead Bruce Campbell going back
Yes.
to medieval times, and then like stayed there with all
because
of
you
your
were the
knowledge
most
of
advanced
future.
knowledge. That's
Yes. See, like you invented like toilet paper and rubber bands or something.
Oh. Must have been a COVID.
It
one
was
with
like
the toilet paper.
He was
Idiocracy
Merlin.
the movie.
He was Merlin
You know?
or something. Like he was a
Yeah.
magician.
Oh yeah, it was. That's what they said. And everything about that was just so phenomenal. We emailed the author during the show too,
To try to get him like, hey, this is great.
which
Can we
never
talk about
emailed
this?
us back. But oh well.
Never emailed back. No.
But the thing is, though, we truly enjoyed, and that I mean, I've enjoyed the other ones too, but that first one was
That
just
first
so.
no, we were on fire. For
It
that
was
first
so
one because
fun.
It was written in 84, 85, 85.
And even though this last one was kind of knock your socks off bonkers,
It
and
was
wait till you
bonkers.
see the rest of it.
Yeah.
But the first one was just perfect.
Yeah.
Because you had 3 different boxes and 3 different adventures you could go to, and the direction was clear. And besides the future, but we were laughing because the future just sucked.
It was terrible.
It's like the lady didn't even want to write the future, but since she did past and present, she had to do something for the future,
All
and she
future
didn't
things were a
care.
joke,
She
right?
obviously sci-fi wasn't her forte,
Not gonna happen.
but it was
No.
so terrible. We were laughing though.
No, but there were also tons of references in it throughout from 80s movies. Like you could see the
Oh,
little
yeah.
entrance about
Yeah.
Back to the Future. You see the little entrance from Star Wars. You
Oh,
see
yeah.
a little entrance from whatever.
Oh
was
man,
popular.
Star Wars was heavy in this.
In this last one for sure.
Yeah.
But
'Cause they
also, but we were
Top
picking
Heels
up.
of Jedi.
We were picking up on every reference that they had, and we were like
Yes.
firing back and forth, just rapid
It's
fire,
great.
as mid sentence, and I'm like rapid fire 80s movie quote, and then bam, 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 rapid fire different 80s movie
And
quote.
that's why I
Just
said.
right back
That's
to
why I
each other.
said too.
That was
Because I
ping
knew
pong.
that would. I was positive. I was
Yeah.
pretty positive we'd have that.
That
one.
was my number 4 on the list.
All right.
right here.
So all right. So we got some
Choose
our
your
first
own
crossover.
Samoflange. Yeah.
So go for it.
Here, let me look at my list.
Oh, he got paper.
I did. I brought paper.
Hey, don't keep it on phones no more. You got
I haven't
paper.
got no cheatsies though. No.
I didn't even
No.
look. I don't look. I don't even like to look.
No.
I like
Okay.
picking my presents at Christmas.
I kind of forgot. No, heck no. Like who does that? That is BS. BS.
That's
Don't be
BS.
peeking at presents. And don't give me a present before the day. If it's before my birthday, don't want it. If it's not Christmas Day, except maybe
Whoa,
Christmas
whoa, whoa,
Eve,
whoa, whoa.
don't do it.
You get birthday presents?
What?
Shut up. Do you?
Yes.
We give them to each other.
Oh.
But that's
That's only because we were
Yeah.
literally born on the same day. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Whoa, I didn't know this.
You didn't know that?
did.
No,
We
I
talked about this
we've
1,000
told you
times.
Okay.
Mike and I are the
What day
exact
is
same
it?
age. April 28th, 1979. Greatest day in the history of the universe. Can't you tell?
It's like 3 weeks away.
Stop. He was about to get some blue raz all over him. Okay, so
Everybody out there was about to get blue
April
razzed.
28th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's coming up.
I know.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what you gonna give me for our birthday?
I don't know. I gotta figure out something for both of you.
Yes.
He's
a
got to
little
match.
older. He's a
It's
little
got to
older.
match whatever I do there, right?
He's about 12.
Some
12 hours
Twinkie
older.
shirts.
Mhm.
All right.
So, but my number 4, which would be a good present for both of us, if number 5 was today, the 300th episode, my number 4 is going to be the 200th episode.
I remember that.
And the reason why that's on my list is because I was late, as always.
always.
I had my glasses and my long hair, and it was wet. And I went and looked back at the video yesterday, and I laughed so stinking hard at running into that room, sitting down, and then you handed me a box of. Do you remember?
A box.
A box of sugar buns.
Sugar buns!
Oh my
Chicken
God.
buns.
And we just ate donuts, and I was so high
Yeah.
on sugar that day.
Yeah.
And do you remember the topic?
I remember the topic afterward, which was top 5 like music and video games, and we talked about Mega Man movie music for a long time after
Yes.
that. I don't remember the topic of that day, but I remember the after conversation because once we turned off the camera, and then we stayed here for like
I
3
remember.
hours talking.
I think you were the one that came up with the topic too.
Well, it
What
would make a
was-
lot of sense.
Wasn't it? Well, we
just
were all talking about it, but I think he
Well,
said we should.
I don't remember the
It
200.
was top
Because he's-
5 moments of the 80s, or not moments of the 80s, but just your favorite things about the 80s.
About the 80s.
Yeah,
That's
because
right,
you
that's
came
right.
up with that. I was like, that's a great idea. Let's
It
do
is a
it.
great
Yeah,
topic.
so
And
just having the sugar buns and talking about the 80s and it being live,
That's
it was
good.
just,
Hold on.
I gotta go get something. So on that note, so go ahead.
Okay,
Keep going. Keep going. It's gonna take me a minute.
he's grabbing his sugar buns.
I gotta
Okay.
gotta get my keys.
Oh, okay. So it's your birthday present early.
hopefully it's
So,
not a bunch of blue rats.
do you
all
re-
over me.
all right. I may if I need to stop talking, if it's on your. Did you mention 100?
No, well, the 100
Okay.
was just
Do
you.
you remember the topic?
100?
No, you were there.
No,
You
no,
were
the
there for
100th
100?
episode was just you and the missus.
Which one was the one? Which one was the one where we talked about our who we like the most? Top 5 people we like.
You're talking about? I don't remember that. Top 5
Yes,
people,
because we
like-
did that one live too, and I can't remember.
like
Was it
hosts or
50?
just like people in general.
No, because we were picking. You were picking Megan, me, CJ, John. We were. I
don't
can't remember
remember
which
that at
episode
all.
that was. We were picking our top 5 people,
Did
and we were joking about hurting feelings.
Did anything
Because
come from that?
I like you better than me, or whatever.
Oh my
I
God.
can't remember. I just remember I ranked low on both y'all's lists.
Don't remember.
Y'all had brotherly love.
Did you message Stepdaddy? Is he watching right now? He should be.
He should be. He should be.
I should have messaged him because there's not a Samoflange that goes by
think
that we
those are
don't bring
two.
him up.
I mean, I can go ahead and bring up my next one because my next one has to deal. It is one of my favorite moments, and I've listened to this several times. It may be one of the best moments of Samoflange for me. It was back when I was doing pictures with the audio when we just did YouTube.
I have it. Just keep going.
All right. And It was when I shocked the pants off of you and CJ, and Stepdaddy came that morning.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And it was like, but no one knew what was going on, so I had to show pictures of John's step while you're going, ah! And it's just screaming for like 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes long of screaming, and it's just so good. I'm trying to yell to him like, Stepdaddy, he's here.
So
I said slobber knocker. I almost like Jim Ross giving commentary.
You would have to have seen it to believe it, because.
But he never got out of bed in the morning.
No, he would never. No.
And
but he would always say he might. I probably will.
You had a better chance of someone, coming back from the dead to appear in the podcast than John Stepp waking up in the morning.
Yep.
But he got up. He came. He was there. He was already there. And then he was waiting outside the door, and I texted us, it's coming up. I said, okay. One last thing, we have a special guest, and then I know what's happening, but they don't on the podcast. And the door's opening, and they go, ah! And it's like boom, and it's just such a fun, because then the whole time the conversation is like cranked up to 15. Like everyone is just on this high now that Steph is there.
But now you've got me looking around the room, and like that door's never closed. So is somebody behind that door?
Steph, come on out! If that would have happened, that'd have been pants dropping there. That'd have been a pants dropping moment. Well, one isn't with Steph though. All right, so so that's my number.
We got props. We got secrets.
All right, here we go.
I got secret props. So
it's number 3.
No. I hope it's a cake and not sugar buns.
Wait. So I have this here. And it's, custom made just for you. And I know, Matt, that you typically this time of year go on a diet.
I am still on the diet.
Right, you are still on the diet.
So
this cake will fit your diet perfectly. There you go. Open it. Come on. Everybody wants to see what you got for your birthday flange.
Yay!
It's a diet
300!
I didn't see the 3. I thought it was just like 2 boobies. All I saw was the 2 ovals.
You saw the 2 ovals.
I was like, yes.
8,008 on the calculator, bro.
Yeah, boobs, baby. Ooh, top 5 boobs. We haven't talked about that, have we? Samoflange of the future.
No.
The letters. Spoiler alert: if Dolly Parton ain't number 1, I quit.
Oh boy!
It just kind of pops out of the cake.
That's all I saw. That's all I saw.
All right, that's great.
Thank you. A cake. I got them. It took a minute for them to
That
understand. I just want the box. Just the box.
I just want the box and the letters.
He's on a diet. You don't get it.
So. Thank you.
But anyway,
that was awesome.
This is also a gift for you. This is like a
magnetic
magnetic
Lanta
decal for some Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai. That's going on the laptop.
Put it right on the whatever you want.
Oh man, that is.
And then this is a little bit of a cheat.
Oh yes, that's definitely going to be the moment I'm off
happy
the diet.
that you did that, and I'll tell you why.
Awesome. Thank you.
You what?
I said I'm happy that you did that, and this is the
because I love the sugar buns moment, because that's what I needed to get it, because that was in an honorable mention, was 100th and the sugar buns and having all that.
So I'm not making this up on the moment. This is 100% true. I told myself last night, I was like, I'm going to be there on time. And I'm going to start.
And you were.
Well, I had everything ready. No. I had everything ready. The reason why I was late today, and this is true, is because I was printing out. I was attempting to print out a picture, the cover art of 300, the movie 300.
Oh, no way.
I printed out like 6 different pictures, and
it wasn't working.
And I couldn't get the 4x6 to look right because I had a frame and everything.
Oh.
And I was going to get me and you to sign it and give to him.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I couldn't do it. I mean, here it is, 2023. I can't even print out a picture.
No.
But I was Googling, like, what are the pixel dimensions of a 4x6? And everything
trying to get whatever to work.
Wouldn't work.
Off topic. I've had that printer since before Megan. Okay, so it is like 17, 18 years old. It finally died.
Wow.
Sorry to hear that.
I mean, the scanner died a long time ago,
okay.
But the copy machine finally, so I got to get a new copier.
Printers are the reason that I got out of tech support. Like, that is the reason that I'm like, I'm not doing this. It's
printers are awful.
For my blood pressure.
I don't want to get I'm just going to get a wired one.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is
throw it
that
away.
Megan only has like a year or 2 left.
Yeah, is she expiring
Seems
from the
ominous.
I know,
doesn't it?
but my relationship with the printer's out though. But the thing is though, now whenever I get one, I'm going, wow, it's so fast. Or
No, you
in
won't.
15 years, has
No, you
anything
won't. It
changed?
hasn't changed.
18 years,
Printers
nothing
are
has
still
changed.
horrendous.
No, because any one that you buy from here until the day that you expire won't last as long as that one.
Not even close.
They'll
That's
last
true.
6
These will
months,
last a few
and
months. Yeah,
you
that's
just
true.
replace it.
That's true now. They don't last as long. All right. So what is your number 3, I think?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what we're-
we are on number 3 now.
Yeah.
Wow. Mine is the top 5 pet peeves episode.
That
And
was
it
a
was just
good
that episode in
episode.
general. And I really liked that one because, and one reason.
We
because-
wanted to revisit that too, didn't we?
Yes.
We have. Did we?
We
have
haven't yet.
remember?
No, because
forgot
there's
about
plenty of
that.
other ones. Because I had mentioned
Because
we
we-
could do a top 5 driving pet peeves. We could do,
Yeah.
because everybody has a pet peeve about driving, but
Well, one of
We can do
mine
a
was the
full-on
first
top
one was
5.
about driving.
right. And
Huh.
but I loved that episode partly
forgot
because
about
we
that.
always try to keep it a general rule. We want to keep these about 30, 45 minutes, bite size, enjoyable chunks. And that's about when our expiration date kicks in. We're like, these guys are awful. Turn the channel. Like
You're
fast
giving us way too
forward.
much credit for 30 minutes.
Exactly. And so I'm just saying there's a few good nuggets within 30 minutes. But that
That's
episode,
good.
I think, lasted a solid like 90 minutes almost, or we could have gone 90 minutes, but it was an
Wow.
hour easy. And
Wow.
we looked up and we were like, holy crap, we could keep talking about this. And we both got agitated because we were talking about things.
We get irritated
we
about
were
it.
talking about things
We
that
hated
upset
it.
us. And so we're like,
It was
oh,
a-
I hate
it
that
was-
so much.
It was angry flange.
Yeah, it
Well,
was.
it's a little bit of a therapy section.
No, it was section. It was great.
It
Yeah,
was a section.
It was a good
Yeah,
section.
session.
Yeah.
Hello. Because y'all are positive people, and so like
Right.
once you kind of start letting some of that negativity out, it's like as a
It's
human
used to.
being, it's like okay, yeah, we need to get some more out. This is fun. This
Yeah.
is good.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
I like how Small Time Republic said that, on Saturday morning, episode 400, you'll discover your fraternal twins.
Oh, yes.
Our parents are.
Oh, look at this. He wrote slow people in the left lane
Makes me
turns
turn
me
into
into the
yeah.
Incredible Hulk.
See,
Okay.
a lot of people say that. And,
Man, I hate to.
but could you break it down to your top 5?
People do not look both ways before going past a stop sign. I almost
gonna-
got to another
We're gonna
red
get into it and
again.
get irritated here.
Because they look one way and then they go because they didn't see anyone
Like
a
at a
minute
4-way
ago.
stop, you mean?
Just at the stop right down where the what that called little coffee house is.
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
They do not look on the other way and they just pull out in front of me.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I hate. I hate it whenever you're driving just by yourself and there's nobody really in front of you
Oh,
cars
goodness.
wise. There's nobody really behind you cars wise. And there's a car, you see a car right there wanting to turn, and that car pulls out right in front of you and goes slow. You have
Yeah.
to slow down, and then 2 streets up, it takes a right and it turns off. And there's nobody behind you, and you're like, you could have waited
Just
2
1
seconds.
second.
Yes,
Yeah.
and just gotten behind me, but no.
Or the people who speed up to get in the lane and then just slow down when they're in front
Hey,
of you.
look. We gotta say
All right.
this.
Yeah, we
for-
gotta say
this.
it. You're right.
The
Good stuff. Good stuff. We
so
never
the
generally never
300 audience gets the preview.
no one
for-
knows this, but when we come up with a topic, usually it's off limits to talk about until the
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about is because that was in my honorable mentions, honestly, and I want to go ahead and say it now because of that.
Oh.
Is because one of my top moments in general about this podcast is the look of disbelief on people's faces when I tell them like none of this was pre-planned. Like the only thing we ever
No.
do is talk. What's the topic?
We know the topic and that's it.
But not just that's it, but it's off limits. Like we
Yeah.
do not. It's not even discussed. It's like Fight Club. Rule 1 and Rule 2.
Yeah.
As what are your top 5? So no, we don't talk about that. And the fact that every episode is recorded just off the cuff. Like we've come up
Yeah.
with a general idea. We might have made a list. We can just,
Well, we have a list.
these
we
are
have
our conversations
Yeah.
every time we see each other.
so we're just doing it in top 5 order. That's the only difference.
He just monopolized it and commercialized it, and here it is for
Yeah.
everybody's entertainment because it's a lot of fun.
Number 3.
Hey, back
He
to
said,
the
he
list.
said episode 100 wasn't on it.
Wasn't on it.
Wasn't on it.
Okay. My
Did he
number
pick
3 moment.
conversations?
You did pick 3.
No.
He went big.
Okay.
You could still do it.
Yeah, because we've only gotten one, right?
Got one.
We've got
Okay.
one, but we've
I don't
got
think y'all are
plenty.
gonna have this one.
Well, we've got 2 more left. So.
This one's super old school.
All right, go.
So this one isn't anything that happened on the podcast per se, but my number 3 moment was episode number 2
Oh no!
of the whole thing.
Uh-oh.
And it wasn't because of the podcast, it was because that was the first time that Matt used the opening that I had made that had the old X-Men theme song on it.
Da-na-na.
Yeah.
So here's what happened with
Back
that.
before
It's like-
YouTube copy strikes.
yeah.
Right.
Well, so we were just young and we didn't know. We were just fooling around, and we were talking about an intro. And me loving the 80s and loving old school like theme songs and intros, I was like, we got to have something that like matches us up. And so I just very rudimentary on an old laptop that I had, like, I pieced this little thing together. I took some old pictures, dinner theater pictures of us. Anyway, like you could go back
That
and
was
watch,
great.
like,
That was great.
and I was so proud of it. I was so stinking proud of this thing. And I gave it over to Matt, and I can't remember what he said, but it was like, oh yeah, we'll use it or whatever. And like, and immediately like put it on, and he had it for 6 or 7 months. It was for quite a few episodes there. But when I went back last night and I watched it, it just made me so happy because it just fit like our attitudes at that time.
Yeah.
And some of those pictures like are very just reminiscent of those days that we had. They were all theater pictures and CJ being stupid and then Matt being stupid. And it was like the genesis of what this is and where this came from.
Nice.
It was just who we were. So that moment was very, very, and then when I tried to go back and look for, this is kind of a aside, but I couldn't find it. And I don't think it was a Samoflange one, but what was that? And where is that intro that you had gotten Fred to make for you? That little ditty thing where you like got out of bed and it was something. Was it like?
I remember
Wait. I got
it
out of
like
bed.
the EU stuff. It was,
Yeah. That was Matt's
Nothing
Fan
Else
Universe.
Reviews?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. Fred did that one.
Because
Yeah.
you haven't used that one in a while, have you?
Well, that series has stopped.
Yeah. Okay.
I still got it.
I just like that little. It was a
Oh
good
no, it's
jingle.
great. Everyone loved. Everyone loves that one.
Yeah.
And it was like, where'd you get that? I was like, it's original, originally made.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the one that we're using right now was made by, I believe, Fred.
Nice.
Because he did that for me a long time ago.
Good job.
Because I knew something I wouldn't get copyright.
Well,
strike
the
on.
X-Men theme
Yeah.
song was not original.
No, but it was great. But I had to stop it because it kept
Yeah.
giving me those warnings. So I was like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
That was back before you two cared. But anyway, my next one here, we're on like 2 now. But
I think so.
All right, so you ready?
Yes. Is this the next crossover, you think?
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Saturday.
Morning.
And so anyway, we kept going on.
Oh my God!
And the secret ending. Remember the secret ending? The stinger at the end. We were talking about stingers.
And how they used to play.
But we
on
kept
cassette.
faking.
Yeah.
We kept going at it, and then we pause, and then we'd let it go for 30 seconds, and then we start talking again, and then we go, okay, bye, and then it'd be,
See you next
and
time
then we
on
do it
Saturday.
again, and then Saturday morning, and then but then we'd let it go for another minute, and we'd talk again, and then we did it, and we stopped talking, and we let it go for another 45 seconds, and then we stopped it. There's nothing at the
And then
end.
there's nothing. to
There's
wait
nothing
for.
at the
It
end.
was the,
Like when you're waiting for a
Return of the
stinger and
King
it's
of
not there,
Podcast.
and you're like, oh, it didn't
You
happen.
can play the CD.
That
and
was-
it says time remaining.
The
you know,
stinger-
Ooh, there's something there.
The stinger episode, because we were
Giggling.
rolling.
Yes.
It was so hard to keep quiet
That was
for
a-
45 seconds.
That was a moment.
And when we
Yeah.
hit stop, I don't even know. I know I cut it off when we did. I was we hit stop because I was about to laugh.
we cried.
I could not stop
a
laughing,
lot.
and I didn't want to laugh because I wanted complete silence. But I just kept going. And but I probably cut that last part out because I wanted just silence
Yeah.
for like 40. It was great.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
I agree.
And we wanted to do it again. Maybe later we'll do it again, but a long time from now. But that was such a great ending.
Yeah. If I thought about it,
Because
that
we
would've
drug it out
made
for.
my
I mean,
list.
that was 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, I
Of
think
just
so.
of this dead air because we
Well,
said
we kept
say
doing
goodbye and then we did another little
Saturday.
topic.
Morning, and then we were like, well, wait a
I
minute,
think,
what
I,
about
think, I
that?
think we ended it, but then we hey, are you still here? Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, we
and then
started
we had another talk. And then we,
Yeah.
Okay, Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what's funny to me? I mean, we did, but it was like 30 seconds or whatever, and we just kept going back and forth, and that
You
was
remember what
so
episode
much
that was?
fun.
Do you have any
I
idea?
don't. That's the thing. I didn't call it the Stinger episode. We had a topic, but
It was around the time we did that
But
first.
I don't. I think. But we were talking about something about movies, something about stingers at the end of movies, and I said, yeah, it's sad. I can't remember what it was, but then it was like, yeah, and then what sucks though is when you think there's a stinger, there's nothing at the end, and you've been waiting there the whole time,
Right.
and then we do it, and then when I was about to hit pause, I was hit stop, I was like, wait, and I just pointed at you and we waited, and I said, hey, are you still here? And we and he got it, and we started giggling about it.
That's what
Then
I'm
we kept
saying.
stopping, because we got on the topic of stingers, is what it was. Whatever
we
episode.
were talking about music, and it was
Oh, really?
because we were talking about how to CD track. You could play a CD, but you could see the time remaining.
Oh,
on
the
CD.
secret song
Yeah.
back on tape.
That's what it was.
And CDs. That's what it was.
And you're like, wait a minute.
That's
says
what
there's
it was.
3 minutes left of this song, but it totally just ended. And we were talking about that or something. So it must have been talking about top 5 music for the 80s.
Something
or
like that. Something like that.
But that was about 2 years ago because I remember it was near the
But I should
Kids
just,
Are on Samoflange.
I should, instead of saying top 5, whatever, I should have just named it the Stinger. That's what I should have just named it.
Yeah.
I couldn't, I looked for
You
it.
gotta go
I
back
looked
and
for it
find
the other
that
day. I was like,
for
where
sure.
was it?
But see, like that goes into my honorable mention about what we were talking about. We didn't pre-plan that either, and then we just
No.
kind of looked at each other and we were like, oh, I see what we're doing.
It was just great.
That is the best.
So, what is your favorite
So number 2.
stinger off of a CD?
Oh Lord. I
Oh, it's
don't know.
Homestar Runner. Secret
But
song.
yeah, secret song from
Homestar Runner.
from,
Strong Bad Sings.
Strong Bad.
Mm,
It's unbelievably good.
Do you have one?
But
Yeah, I know one.
What's your
Um,
favorite singer?
From the Bloodhound Gang album. I can't remember the name of the album. Maybe "Hooray for Boobies." I think maybe the name of
Yep.
the album. But like at the end, it's like him and the girl trying to
yeah,
harmonize.
hooray for
boobies.
hooray for me, hooray for mine,
Yes.
hooray for yours. Yes, I know the
for
song.
boobies.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. That was pretty
That's
funny.
My number 2 would basically be our Cobra Kai season breakdowns because we would watch
That's great.
Cobra Kai. We watched it from the beginning back when it was YouTube Red and when they were trying to get that season pass thing going. And then Matt immediately said, they're talking about they're going to bring Karate Kid onto the small screen. It'll never work. And he's like, I'm not going to pay for that. And I was like, I'm going to pay for it. You're coming to my house and we're going to watch it. And so I remember that first
Well, remember
season.
we watched Karate Kid in theaters, and they played the first episode,
Oh, that's
of
right.
Cobra
That
Kai.
the preview
and
it was the stinger for Karate Kid the movie.
and we saw it, and we're like,
Well, that
that's pretty good.
that could be good.
That's pretty good.
And then I got YouTube Red, and you and Megan came over to the house, and I think
Y'all watched the whole thing in one day.
did we
one
do
night?
it in
Oh,
one night?
I
or 2
can't-
nights.
I wasn't there, but I
wanna
remember
say.
you
2
saying it
nights
was-
probably.
It was
But-
either season 2 or one of those seasons.
was
y'all
usually
watched in
when we
one
watch
night.
it, we
Yes,
watch
that
it.
is true.
Oh, maybe that was it. Maybe it wasn't.
Maybe it was that first one, but either way, it was not planned. to
But
do
you
that.
want to talk about? Have you seen it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, you want to talk about and spoilers for season
lots
one.
of spoilers.
The,
for
a
Cobra Kai.
drop off the couch. I mean, still the best moment
Yeah.
was at the end of the first season
Yeah.
when he lights up the cigar
Yeah.
and it's
and it's creased.
it's crease and it's you're just like
Yeah. And that,
great.
I mean, but that just blew our minds. And I was watching that with the intent of reviewing it on.
Of course, our last one we
Here.
did because we ended on an episode where they went to Olive Garden. So the next night I bought Olive
we
Garden.
got Olive
for us.
Garden, and we had it there as like a little homage.
It worked. It worked. Product placement works. All right, number 2.
So yes, all of our Cobra Kai recaps where we would just like
Yeah,
go through the
Those
whole
were
thing,
good.
and then we would scream a lot for that because
Those
we
were
were
a lot of
remembering our
fun.
favorite moments as we were doing
those
that.
were a lot of fun.
And I'm very excited because right now we're coming up on the last season, right? Or is it still?
Yeah, I think it's the last season,
They said it's over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and they should end it.
I agree. So
All right.
I'm still enjoying it.
2. I'm getting worried. He's screwed, I think, but I'm getting worried. I think you.
Yeah. I mean, my stuff is old and sentimental.
I've got one more shot. I'm hoping you and I are connecting. on this
So
one.
my number 2 is another old school one. This one, I'm wearing the shirt. That'll a little bit of the topic.
Royal Rumble.
So it was our very first crossover episode with Bruce,
Oh.
way back in the day.
Yeah.
With me, you, Bruce, and CJ.
Yeah.
And it was the Princess of the, what do we call it? The
Princess
Princess
of
the Samoflange.
Princess Samoflange, yeah.
Yeah, Saturday morning universe.
Universe,
or-
something like that, yeah.
And I just love that episode because we, back then it was they were like 2 different worlds. It was almost like WWF and WCW. Like we didn't really talk about each other. We always wondered
Yeah.
what the other was doing. It's like if
The
it got
first
brought
the
up,
invasion
yeah, the
storyline.
invasion storyline, and so it's like, oh my gosh, this dude Bruce is real. He's here. And we talked about. We did a double one. We did top 5 wrestlers and then matches that day. So it
Wrestlers
was,
and matches
Yeah.
that they did?
yeah. Well, not that they did, but it was like the whole.
Oh,
top-
just matches.
yeah, so it was like
Oh.
over an hour long, and that was at the beginning of 2015. somewhere around, or maybe the middle of 2015. So just a year removed from us and CJ going to
WrestleMania.
And so CJ was in full like Jake the Snake form, and so like every like thing that came out of his mouth was freaking look into the eyes of an animal.
That was great.
Snake.
Yeah, he
And,
went on for a while. That was
So
great.
that was just beautiful. That was a good moment to go back and listen to, and I remember like feeling just ecstatic because we were just being
I
silly
feel
talking
ecstatic.
about wrestling.
Are you ready?
Oh,
Help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope, even though I don't think I'm going to get it. I don't think I'm going to get the two I wanted. I knew we'd have the Samoflange. I thought we'd have this one. I don't think we do now. It was our first running gag.
running gag.
We had a running gag very early because we did an episode called Top 5 Movie Sequels. And in the episode, CJ shocked the pants off of both of us
Oh, wait a minute.
by picking what became the first ongoing gag for like tons of episodes
What
after
was
that.
that movie? Now I can't remember.
Predator 2!
Oh, Predator 2!
He made Predator 2
That's right.
as a top 5.
How
And
did I forget?
me and Mikey went, what? And so for every episode,
Predator 2.
until 100,
I can't even.
that was a running gag for us to say, because CJ would go, okay, my number 1 is, and we go Predator 2.
2.
Because it'd be about like, the top 5 toys or dolls or anchovies or pizza, and we had Predator 2
How could
pizza.
I forget
But
that?
we kept saying Predator 2, and that was the best. Sometimes we would just nail it. It's like
was there one
top
time
5 celebrities.
where you
and you
threw
said
in the
Predator
picture?
2.
There
Yeah.
was some like thing at the end when you put the pictures in, and it was like out of nowhere, like just a Predator 2 movie poster was up on the screen.
But he did Predator 2 and went, wait,
I
what?
forgot all about
But
that.
then CJ had to defend it,
Oh,
and it
Lord.
was kind of
Oh,
awkward.
and he
Like,
defended it fiercely.
that was hilarious. And because I remember we were talking about he's talking about the Fast and Furious. I said, yeah, but you know what's better? Predator 2. There were so many Predator 2 jokes for like the first 100 episodes. It was the first running
I
gag.
can't believe
I
that.
can't
We
wait to
had-
see CJ again.
You can change it so I can win in crossover, but it doesn't
That
matter.
was so good. That
You
was so
won.
good.
It seems like it.
No,
It seems
one.
like it, yeah.
One. Good job. Unless y'all have this next one.
I doubt
But
it.
the
I don't
thing
think so.
is, that Predator 2 joke was
It was
so
money.
because
Money.
there's so now I didn't get to listen to every Predator 2 joke because I couldn't tell where they were, but on some of them we'd cut in, we'd interrupt right as he's about to say his number 1 or something, and one of us would come up with a very smart Predator. It was like top 5 females from the 90s Predator 2.
Predator 2.
it would just come out of left field. It was so great. We ragged him for years on Predator 2. That was just so funny. But that was an early episode that we did top 5 sequels, and he said Predator 2.
Of all the sequels ever made.
I know. But anyway, all right. So number 1.
My number 1 was the first one that came to mind was not that long ago. We finished our Choose Your Own Samoflange
That was great.
in the very first run. And because as children,
That was a good one.
as kids even, we always picked up a Choose Your Own Adventure book and we were like, turn to page 65. All right. I'm halfway through the book. I'm still got my 1 life. Ah!
No, I didn't want to do that.
I didn't cheat.
Did you ever do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. We did all
yes.
because you wanted to get it right the
Very first go.
time.
You wanted to feel smart and
But
brave
you
and
couldn't.
whatever. You always died some way. Well, a few weeks back,
Okay.
many years later, we did it.
We did it on one run.
We did it.
The best
From
ending.
the first to the end.
But
we
here's the
got
crazy thing
ending,
about it.
We beat it.
We were trying to die.
Yeah.
Then we were trying to think like
Then
Captain
we're like, wait a
Picard.
minute.
Then what WWPT, what would
He
Picard
said,
do?
he said,
And
what
then
would-
we went back to suicide mode and we
it
won.
was.
And it was one of the best endings.
Yes, it was.
Because we paused and he read the ending and I looked at him and went, wait, did we just do this on one run?
We did.
Yes.
Well,
we're like,
no. Here's
and
the
it was
best
like,
part.
oh!
No, I
and
remember.
after that podcast was over, we must have talked about that for another 25 minutes.
Still talking about it. And it's just the beauty of it, though. Is I went back and listened to that episode recently, and I remember I was flipping the page to it, and I saw the end at the bottom. And I audibly said, oh, and you thought we were going to get it, but then here we go. And as I read through it, it kept getting better and better and better. And I was like, whoa, there's a lot of development here in this one page. And then boom, it was over and we won. I was like, what? And then the level of
good.
screaming, like we peaked the mic a
Yeah.
lot at
Yeah.
that time, but like we picked the mic a lot of times through the years, kind of thing. But that was one of my favorite times that we peaked the mic, like just absolutely shouting with nonstop but genuine jubilation. It was so much fun.
Yeah,
That was just a beautiful moment.
That was a beautiful
That had
moment.
to be in my top 5,
that's a good one.
regardless of where it ranks.
That was
Like,
great.
That
That was
still-
great. Yeah,
It was a perfect.
that
That was a life achievement.
That was a lot of fun.
That happened to be
Unlocked.
recorded.
Yeah,
Unlocked.
we leveled
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
I mean,
You can't pick right now.
you know what my number one's gonna be.
Is it the beginning?
Yeah, like my
The
number
first one?
one is the
So
very
Elemental
first
Mikey
one.
Pick the
strikes
beginning.
again.
But I'm going with episode 1, not episode 0.
Okay,
Oh.
there you go.
I mean, episode 0 was just us.
Introduction, and that was it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, we talked about our top 5 movies, or not top 5.
Oh, did we do a top 5?
Well, we didn't do a top 5 because that was like our very first time. We just talked about the movies we liked the best from 2014.
Yeah.
That was me and you.
Oh yeah,
Of
yeah.
the year.
Movies of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
We
do you
still
remember
do
what
that.
yours was?
2014.
Yeah.
No idea. Help me.
Edge
Predator
of
2.
Tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it was Edge of Tomorrow. That was a great movie.
It was.
Still is.
Mine was. I think I wrote it down. I
Shut
can't
up, you
remember.
wrote it down.
Oh yeah, Gone Girl.
Gone Girl.
Wow.
Mhm. Which is funny because that was I think one. Not, I don't know if that was the first movie. Maybe not the first movie that Ben Affleck directed, but he's turned into a much better director than an actor.
Right.
And now here we are 8 years later, and 9 years later, in this movie Air that just came out
Coming back.
yesterday, and
With
it's
acting
another one
with
that he
Damon.
directed.
Yeah.
And so when you look at his movies, Gone Girl, Argo, this movie Air, The Town, like anyway. So I just kind of think that's cool that he's still rocking. But episode one, the
Yeah.
one, and that just started it all. And
Yeah.
it was, what movies are we looking forward to in 2015?
Yep.
But
Right.
what makes me laugh so hard about that is that me and you had already kind of, did that episode 0 and it was whatever.
Mhm.
But then we're like, this is Saturday morning Samoflange and I'm Matt and I'm Mikey. And then CJ's like, and I'm Grundle. It just set the stage and like the atmosphere for everything that we
Like-
probably were going to do.
Rundle from like Beowulf or something? Like, what is he talking about?
Well, I knew exactly what he was talking about. It was back in the day, right? That was actually
Yeah.
before we did the superhero show.
Yeah.
Because the superhero show premiered that year. So I don't know
Yeah.
if you had written it yet or if you were in the stage
Maybe
of writing
so,
it.
and he knew who it was. Yeah.
But
probably
that was
so.
his name, his evil
Oh.
villain, his sidekick name
Oh.
in the dinner theater, Grundle. And I think that was a word. Wasn't that a word that he either made up or brought back and brought to our attention?
I can't remember.
Because we were talking about like the taint and the skitch and like whatever, and then he was like the Grundle, and we were like, what? Because he always had these just like funny words and sayings, and we're like Grundle. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna call myself Grundle or something like that, and so he was
In
Grundle.
character every
That's
time.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so you just never knew what you were going to get with him. It was always funny. It was always hilarious.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite people I've ever met, and just doing that journey and having those times. Because even though we didn't know what we were going to talk about, I mean, it was very formatted the exact same way then as it is now. When you add CJ on top of that,
Oh,
you
man.
really don't know what you're going to get. You don't know
Never
what
it's gonna
character, what voice, like what Predator 2, like you don't know what's going to come out of his mouth.
Yeah.
So just looking back on that and just how it started, it was very, very funny. And what I liked about when I went back and listened, 2015 and our topic, the movies that we were looking forward to the most, the one that I was looking forward to the most actually turned out to be like one of my top 3 favorite movies of the
Ever?
entire decade.
Really?
What was it?
Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. Great movie.
And
Yeah, I did not look forward to that, and I think that was probably
You
my
didn't?
winner for 2015.
Yeah, well, but when I brought it up, you were
I
like,
was like-
oh yeah, like I've heard a little bit about
Yeah,
that.
I heard a little bit about
it.
But I was like, because remakes back then, you
Yeah.
didn't really care
No,
about.
you weren't excited.
And
about
that,
it.
I bet, I don't know, but I bet if we went back, I bet Mad Max was at the top of my list. That was a great movie.
I mean, yeah,
You were
like,
so right.
it was, yeah. And what was funny was the reasons why in my head that I explained on the podcast, I think are the reasons why it was great, was because I was like, wait a minute, this is a little bit different because this is written and directed by George Miller. He created this. He's not. This isn't just a cash grab for this
Just to
dude.
throw out. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like I felt going into it, and then looking back on it, it's like that's easily one of my top 3 movies of the past 10, 15 years.
Awesome.
Honorable mentions.
How many honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions is when our daddy, Mark Addy,
Mark Eddy.
appeared. He was another surprise
Was he
guest.
on the episode on
He
the
came-
podcast?
He came on the episode. He
man.
came and surprised the group. It was a few weeks after Step. I was like, hey, we need to
Mhm.
capture that. But it was just great to see. And everyone, we changed the topic to talking about his chicken farm or something the entire podcast. It was great though. It was great because there's.
I would sit and talk
There's-
to John, not John, the Mark about chickens all day
I
if I
would,
could.
I would listen to him talk
Yes.
about his farm
Yes.
all day long. All
Right.
day long. Love the man.
I mean, I love him too, but why?
The Time Stories podcast.
That's what my honorable mention was.
At Time Stories podcast,
Yeah.
talking about the incredible moments, reliving them, because it was probably the day after we'd come and record that, just because it was so fresh in our
It was
mind.
either the day after or that literally that right. We went
Well,
from
once it
Time
was that
Stories
night and we
into
just right into
we
it.
had to review
But it was just
immediately.
those were just captured the moments, the
Honorable
excitement,
mention
and
Time
everything.
Stories.
Yeah. That was one for me too, and I cannot remember.
I remember somebody
oh,
commented at one of
I
our
had-
later episodes because Time Stories is like 7 full-on episodes, and then somebody was like, "When am I getting back to the top 5 list?" God,
I had a top
terrible.
Five, I had a top 5 with Megan about baseball, and at the end, it was funny because she doesn't know that much about baseball, and so the whole time I'm doing so. Yeah, so do you like San Diego? She went, they have a team. What's their name? I said, what do you think? She went, San Diego. She goes, is that the Brewers? And I was like, yeah. I mean, we just kept going. I mean, because she didn't know any of the teams, but she knew the Rangers, so she loved the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a fun one. Honorable mentions?
Well, zero was an honorable mention.
Yeah, when it first started, I thought about putting that one on there too.
Are there any other sentimental episodes? Because that will be his honorable mention.
Well, no, yeah. So
Yeah.
this is kind of a funny
I
story,
should've
right?
guessed
And I
this.
don't know if I don't know if Matt knows the extent of how talk about running jokes. So back in 2016, whenever we went to Gen Con, didn't you either? I think in that year, didn't you do like an on the
On the
road-
scene,
on
did
the
we do
scene?
one? Yeah, maybe.
I did it
I
with
think
you,
we
but I
did.
think you did. Like
I think we
that
did.
It was I think you
We
either
went.
did it as-
We were going different parts. You were going with that
Yeah.
caravan. I had the group.
right.
Maybe I did.
I feel
Yeah.
like you did, right? And
Yeah.
so,
At
We
Gen
talked.
Con?
We
Yeah,
talked at
yeah.
the end of Gen Con. Top 5 moments of Gen Con or whatever.
yeah.
Yes, we did.
Because we ran into each other like maybe once or twice, but if you haven't been to Gen Con, like
Folks who are watching it, I did that podcast with Dylan. You see Dylan a lot on everyone's channel, and Jeremy from Stupid Chainsaw Productions. They went with me that year. I do remember that now.
So what's the running joke with this is so funny to me. I think John Stepp has even made like a little picture meme about it. And it is so great. So if you've never been to Gen Con, I mean, it's super huge. I mean, 50,000.
I never saw you
people.
that weekend.
Yeah, and it's
And we were
like
both there.
if like you can go with friends, you can know a lot of people that are there. But if you don't specifically plan to do things,
Yeah.
then
Where
you're just
be.
not going to see them. Like and it's no harm, no foul. It's just that's the way it is. Well, this was my very first year to go, and so I'd heard these stories, but I had not experienced them for myself. So I'm like the includer. One of my top 5 strengths on like the Clifton Strengths Finder is I'm an includer. Like I want everybody to be
Clifton
involved. I want to
Strengths
have
Finder.
everybody, to join in on the fun. And so like when I get there, I'm like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna hang out with these people. I'm gonna hang out with Matt. And we're gonna find Matt. We're gonna do all this type of stuff. Well, before we left, I thought that the communication was that I was going up there with certain people, and then I was coming back with Matt. And so we didn't say anything about it. This is just, what was in my head. And we drove up there. We had a nice time or whatever. And then the day before, it was on a Sunday. We were both leaving on Monday. I asked Matt about and I don't remember how the conversation went, but it was basically like, am I still riding with you tomorrow, or how's this going or whatever? And then Matt, and I'm paraphrasing, he's like, and this was I think this was through a text message. He was like, oh man, like I bought so many games, I don't have any room for you. And I was like, okay, man, that's cool. And so, but what Matt doesn't know, I don't think, is that everybody else had gone, and he didn't have any room for me because that was my only plan. So when I checked out of my hotel room that morning in downtown Indianapolis, I had to walk like 4 or 5 miles to the Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
What?
Rent a car
Oh, no.
and drive all the way home. Now, I'll tell you, that was actually a great fun moment.
He didn't know this.
No.
No.
For multiple,
No.
yes.
No.
No. This is not a sad story. This is a great story because
Oh, I feel bad.
because what I rented was a Hyundai Sonata, and I thought that Hyundais were really, really awful cars. Well, it was such a wonderful ride home that 2 years later I ended up buying
Bought a Hyundai?
and that's what I still have now. But what's funny, and I think the little meme that John made was like a picture. I think he like superimposed like you driving a car and
Yeah.
a stack of board games in the passenger seat. And it still comes up to this day.
It had the two guys drove with me, and Jeremy was stuck between all these games. It wasn't just me, but I mean Jeremy and Dylan had both bought some stuff,
And you had.
and
your
we had
stash.
to, and I had my I had a big box. I remember I had the most, but
I mean, I'm looking at it.
we didn't have room.
Some of it.
No, it was all right.
I didn't
but
know they'd left.
It
though.
was so funny, but I had never been, and so like I thought beforehand, like, hey, this is kind of what we talked about, and I didn't realize, and I'm kind of like a fly by the seat of your pants kind of guy, if y'all don't know that by now. But going to Gen Con and planning Gen Con, you can't really be that way. Like you have to be a little bit more like straightforward, and
versatile.
and so yeah, but. Talk about a running gag. It is so funny. I'll see if I can find one of these pictures and send it
Running
over to
gag.
you.
You had to walk
Please,
to
please.
Enterprise.
But you know what though?
Wow.
Like I love stuff like that. Like I know it sounds funny, and I'm not just making this up. Like it's a funny gag. It's like, oh man, like Matt left you because he had too many board games. But like it was a beautiful morning downtown Indianapolis.
Ended up being a good day.
No, it was.
Yeah.
Like, and I like new adventures like that. Like I do like just being kind of thrown out
Living your life.
and seeing what
Your
you can
life.
do. Choose your own adventure.
Hey.
You know?
Hey!
Like I the ending of that one was a good ending. Like I
Yeah.
did. Now I could have flipped the page and turned the wrong corner and gotten juked by somebody in a back alleyway. Then that
Wow.
would really feel bad.
Wow.
But the choose your own adventure did
So,
not go that
It
way.
worked out. It worked out all right.
So, yeah, all right. So on that note, that's great. I didn't know that. I feel bad now.
Revealed.
I do. Now, yeah. On episode 300, you reveal that now. Okay.
How long ago?
How long you been holding that in? 200 episodes.
Been
you've
saving
holding
that
in.
one for a
All
little
right.
bit.
So I want to thank you both for being a part of this,
Thank you.
on and off, and within your lives. I know your lives have both been busy and everything, and y'all make the time, and I appreciate that. Because guys, and I've said this on the podcast when they're not around. When they're not around, it's usually my fault. They have to work around my schedule because I got all these little small kids. I cannot work. It has to be at a certain time. It has to be when everyone goes to bed.
I'm the one doing
It has
theater
to be,
now.
and I mean, but I don't blame y'all, man. Busy lives, and I always say this when I do it solo, but I want to tell them on this. I do appreciate because I know it's like, oh, come over to my house. I'm not gonna go over there. I would gladly travel if I didn't have 4 kids, 3 and under. So,
Understood.
and hopefully that'll change, and we'll be able to do some better stuff. But I appreciate you both for taking the time to be on the podcast on and off over the years.
Pleasure, my friend. It's
Well,
a pleasure.
you get into the sentiments. This is where I live.
So
So I think I could speak for BJ on this one, and that we wouldn't be anywhere close to 300 episodes if it wasn't for your commitment, your tenacity, your schedule, just your brain. And so,
Yeah.
I want to say that that's the reason why I started this off by saying, like, it's weird looking at our lives and how much it has changed over the years. But
this is an open diary,
yeah.
to be
Yeah.
honest, an online
it is.
diary.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
And one of my sentimental things I could throw in at the end too is our conversations from the moment we met have been like this.
I want to say they haven't been top 5, but these are the conversations we have on an average day.
All the time.
And
And
we
that's
laugh,
because
we
of you.
laugh, we make jokes,
That's because of you.
we bring it in, and well, I mean, thank you.
I
But
mean, we really appreciate
Yes,
it.
but, yeah.
We love you very much.
well, there,
That's how we describe you to other people. It's like, that's the guy in my friend circle that I can talk to about anything. And it's actually really fun and funny and usually a great time.
So my
Even when we're
last
talking
question-
about things that piss us off.
So now that we're being all sentimental, when are we gonna kiss?
all right, folks, we'll see you next time
Saturday
on Saturday
morning.
Samoflange. Ah, look out! Oh no! Wait, where's the Cinnabons? What?